Applying for internships can be a really daunting process, especially when you're going into it without a lot of professional experience. Keep watching because today's video is going to make you comfortable and confident enough to be successful in your job search. Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are having an amazing day. It has been a minute, but we are back. Attending Drexel University, a school where internships are ingrained into our curriculum while also working part-time, I've had my fair share of interviews. In the past month, I have had 17 interviews, from which I got 10 job offers and 4 offers as a qualified alternate. All of this to say that I have had my fair share of interviews and that I've gained skills that have turned out to be really successful in my own process as well. So here are the 4 main tips that you are going to need to be successful in your interview. Now, I know that this may seem corny, but tip 1 is to be yourself. It is so true. I think that a lot of times going into interviews, especially if you don't have a lot of experience, you can kind of try to fake it and pretend that you're someone that you aren't. But the best thing that you can do is to be yourself. If you aren't yourself in the interview and you end up getting the job, who's your employer going to expect to show up to work? The authentic you or the fake you? The fake you. And that is too much work to keep up with. So be yourself. For example, I love changing my hair, and during my previous interview cycle, my hair was short with blonde tips, and I loved that because, I mean, was it conventional? Is it normal in the workplace? No, but it's authentic. It really showed the real me and showed that wherever I am working, I know that I'll have that flexibility to be myself and won't be treated differently because of my hair. Side note, especially for my people of color, don't submit to the stigma of what hair is professional. I came in with my short, natural hair and got a job at an investment banking company. So don't fall into the stigma of what hair is professional. Oh, I need to change my hair, straighten my hair for the interviews. No, wear your hair as you want it, and the right people will treat you right. The right company will find you. Of course, still be professional, still show up as your best self, but also as your true self. Also, employers are very good at seeing through people, so if you aren't being authentic, they'll probably be able to tell anyways. Now, my second tip has to do with the tell me about yourself question. I learned this the hard way, but the tell me about yourself question is not for employers to know more about you. The tell me about yourself question is for employers to know what skills you've gained through your experiences that are relevant to the job position and how they make you an asset to the company. For example, one thing about me is that I grew up with 5 younger brothers. If I'm applying to a management assistant position, instead of saying, my name is Jaazy, I'm from a small town in PA, and I grew up in a big family with 5 younger siblings. Sometimes it was overwhelming being in a big family, but I grew to love it, and it really inspires me to be successful in college and my career. I could say, I grew up in a big family with 5 younger brothers. As the oldest sister, I had to learn how to efficiently, fairly, and patiently delegate responsibilities between me and my siblings from a very young age. As you can see, these 2 explanations translate very differently to the employer. While the first one is not terrible, it is very generic. The second shows them that you're a continuing learner and have good leadership and organization skills. As you're going throughout your tell me about yourself explanation, remember to keep an other's view, a you perspective. Don't just think about what the most important parts of your story are to you or to add in all of the details of your upbringing, but really think what that I have experienced would be most helpful and most relevant to the employer, and make sure that that is what you're focusing on in your answer. Tip number 3, be prepared. Please, please, please come into the interview prepared. Interviews, in a way, are a conversation, but they're also kind of like a bit of a mind game. That sounds bad. Not a mind game, but a test. It's so important to come into the interview knowing some specific information about the company. Even if right before your interview you researched 5 facts about XYZ, and you can pop those in just as you're talking about different things. For example, if you know that one of the company's core goals or core mission statements is civic engagement inside and out of the company, as you're speaking through your experiences, you can bring up something that relates to that core value and slip it directly into the conversation, sometimes even verbatim. And I have done that before, and I'm not sure if it helped or hurt, but I do know that it definitely makes them feel that you're a great fit because you're literally lining up with their goals and mission statements. So So that's really helpful for researching the company. The amount of interviews I've had where afterwards they're like, oh, you'd be such a great fit. And I'm like, I know. I already know what your main goals are, so I'm just gonna bring that to you and then you'll like me. This tip sounds a little bit toxic, but it's not. Back to the first point of being yourself. If you're researching a company's goals and you don't line up with them, maybe that's just not the job for you. But if you find things that resonate with yourself, then 100% bring that up in the interview and make yourself a good fit for the company. So find mission statements, unique goals, demographic goals that apply to you. You need to show that you can speak their language. Even if you don't really know what you're talking about, casually mirroring some of the company's objectives in your interview will show that number one, you did your research, and number two, you could be a good fit for the company. Along with being prepared, come with questions. Already have the questions, or at least a set of questions that you know you can ask in your back pocket beforehand. Some of the basic things you can ask are, what does the day-to-day look like? What's your favorite thing about working here? Unique questions that I like to use include, what do you think are key attributes of successful team members at XYZ company? What's something that you've learned during your time at XYZ? What are the main projects the team will be looking to work on in the fall when I will be joining the team? Another thing that I did when I didn't really come in with questions prepared is, as the conversation is going on, just listen for key points that you can ask for further explanation on later at the end of the interview. For example, the interview stated that as they were trying to grow throughout the company, their coworkers helped them a lot in just growing and being able to explore different parts of the company as they were making their decisions on where they wanted to grow. So you could ask on that as a co-op, as an intern. Well, I also have the opportunity to test out different sectors of the company. That would be a super easy follow-up question, super simple, that you could ask in response to something they said earlier. Even though it might seem obvious, it does show that you are paying attention in the conversation. So bouncing off of that, my fourth and final tip for this video is to treat the interview like a conversation. At the end of the day, an interview is a group of people talking to each other about a specific topic, particularly a specific job. And so what is that? A conversation. During an interview, no matter how nervous you are, it is important not to show it. I had one interview, I was so nervous, I literally, in my head, I was like, I'm about to cry. But then I was like, Jazz, like, you just can't. And I was just sitting there talking, holding back tears, and I got the job. But imagine if I let my nerves take over and started having a breakdown in front of the interviewers. Probably would not have gone the same way. So as nervous as you are, don't let the nerves show. Control yourself. I promise you're probably doing better than you think you are. Also, employers want someone who is confident and who can fit in with their team. So while staying professional, it's okay to talk like a normal person. You can spark conversation. Bounce off of something that they just said. Respond to their personalities. Really feel out the atmosphere. If their interviewer is more casual, play into their conversation. Maybe do a little laugh here and there. Something. Just show some life. I promise it will make you stand out. Most people are so nervous that they go into their interview and are just like scared the whole time. But if the interviewer has that personality, play off of it. Still remember, you're being interviewed. Don't act like you're their best friend, but it's okay to be like a normal person. I had one interviewer who made a joke and I responded to it instead of just waiting for them to answer their own joke. And during the interview, they told me, you're the only person who actually did that, who actually responded to the conversation and played into their personality. And I ended up getting that job offer. So it is okay to treat it like a conversation. On the other side of things, if the interviewer is very professional, very strict, giving Devil and Prada vibes, then treat them as such. Be very serious, be pretty stoic during the interview. But again, if there is a lot of dead silence towards the end, bring in those questions that you had prepared and it'll show that you do have preparedness and have confidence to speak in a professional setting. At the end of the day, it's really about if you can have impact in the conversation at any point. When done correctly, it translates confidence and again shows that you would be an asset to the company. So going into your interviews, remember, be yourself. The tell me about yourself question is really tell me about how you can help me. Be prepared and treat it like a conversation. I know that y'all are gonna kill it. Interviews can be scary, especially when they're for internships or jobs that you just haven't had that much experience in. But you know, be yourself, follow the tips that I have put out below. But thank y'all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know how your interviews go in the comments down below. Also, if you have any questions, you can leave them down there as well, or DM me on Instagram at Jaazy_Araya. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.